Real Madrid told what they don't need Jude Bellingham doing as Xabi Alonso gets special smell. Advice from Blancos. legendReal. Madrid have been told what they don't need Jude Bellingham doing, with new Blancos boss Xabi Alonso being offered special smell advice. What happened? England international Bellingham registered 23 goals during his debut campaign at Santiago Bernabeu, with those efforts helping to deliver La Liga and Champions League titles. His output dipped slightly to 15 strikes last season. The bigger picture. It remains to be seen when Bellingham will be free to figure for real again, on the back of their FIFA Club World Cup campaign, with the 22-year-old due to undergo surgery on a long-standing shoulder problem. Did you know? Alonso has suggested that he will be using Bellingham in a deeper role within his system, with greater emphasis being placed on his ball-playing ability. Real's head coach is, however, being urged to push a proven goalscorer further up the pitch. What Salgado said. Michel Salgado wants to see the all-action midfielder used in his most destructive position. The Blancos legend told GIVEMESPORT, "I need Bellingham close to the box. I don't need Bellingham coming back to receive the ball and to be too much in the build-up. He showed in the first year that he is a player with a special smell to go into the box. With Xabi Alonso, I think he is going to play that role. I think he is going to be the key player behind Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe. We're going to see a different Bellingham this year compared to last season. We're going to see the best version of Bellingham this year, for sure." What next for Bellingham? Bellingham has been joined in the Spanish capital this summer by fellow England international and close friend Trent Alexander-Arnold. It remains to be seen when they will grace the same pitch again after falling short at the semi-final stage in Club World Cup competition. Real Madrid megastar feels uncomfortable on the right wing. Report: Real Madrid's crushing 0-4 loss to Paris Saint-Germain in the FIFA Club World Cup semi-final has left plenty of questions hanging over Xabi Alonso's new project. In fact, according to a report from Miguel Angel Diaz on COPE, one of the biggest talking points is Vinicius Jr.'s role in that match. Alonso made a bold decision by starting Vinicius on the right wing instead of his usual position on the left. However, this move did not sit well with the Brazilian star. People close to Vinicius have shared that he feels uncomfortable playing on that side of the pitch. The Brazilian number 7 prefers the left, where he has spent most of his career, using his speed and skill to cut inside and create chances. Real Madrid's attack against PSG featured Kylian Mbappe, Gonzalo Garcia, and Vinicius, with Alonso placing Vinicius on the right to accommodate the new arrival. Unfortunately, the experiment failed, and the whole team looked lost against the French champions. The defeat exposed the gap between Madrid's current level and that of Europe's top teams. Real Madrid have no agreement in place on contract renewal of 25-year-old star Real Madrid and Vinicius Jr. have yet to reach a full agreement over a new contract. According to journalist Miguel Angel Diaz from COPE, despite recent talks and earlier hopes for a quick renewal, nothing has been signed or sealed or even agreed so far. Vinicius' current contract with the club runs until 2027. Talks about a new deal began right after the 2024-25 La Liga season ended. At first, it seemed like the extension would be completed soon after the Club World Cup, but things have not gone according to plan. The Brazilian forward is reportedly in no rush. He wants to have full control over his future and decisions. While this has not caused panic inside the club, it has created a bit of confusion. People expected the new deal to be a formality, but it's turning out to be more complicated. Vinicius Jr. has a contract until 2027. Photo by David Ramos, Getty Images. One of the main reasons for the delay is believed to be a disagreement over wages. Sources say Vinicius' camp wants a pay rise that matches his status in world football. However, Real Madrid are not ready to meet all of those demands just yet. There were recent claims that Vinicius has a verbal agreement with the club to extend his deal until 2030, 3 years beyond his current contract. But until the paperwork is signed, that promise holds little value. Right after this supposed verbal agreement was reported, COPE made it clear that no formal renewal has been agreed upon. This has raised fresh doubts about when, or even if, the deal will go through. At this point, both sides remain calm, but the longer this drags on, the more questions will be asked. For now, Vinicius remains fully committed to the club, but the wait for a signed deal continues. Real Madrid prodigy has no intention of leaving even with no guarantee of playing Timmy. According to a report from us, it has come to light that Endrick has made it clear that he will not consider a loan move this summer. While Real Madrid were open to the idea of sending him out on loan to gain experience, the Brazilian forward has no interest in leaving. His focus is fully set on succeeding in Madrid, and he does not plan to change his path. After a season that fell well short of expectations, Real Madrid are entering a phase of significant change, with both departures and arrivals on the horizon. Even though 3 signings have already been completed and a 4th player is set to join in Álvaro Carreras, manager Xabi Alonso continues to push for additions to the Squadangelo still on the agenda. According to Sport, one of Alonso's main priorities this summer is to find a true midfield organizer to fill the void that Real Madrid have felt since Toni Kroos' retirement in 2024. And, the name that stands out as far as the Merengues technical staff is concerned, is Angelo Stiller. The VfB Stuttgart and Germany midfielder, dubbed the New Cross by some, has been heavily linked with Los Blancos ever since it became clear that Alonso would become the new manager. However, the pursuit of a midfielder seemingly took a backseat, with Arda Güler getting moved to a new position in the center of the park to provide that missing creativity and guile. Even then, Alonso insists on a player of Stiller's profile, who can dictate play from the middle, something that the likes of Federico Valverde and Aurelien Tchouameni have been unable to do. Stiller could be the long-term replacement for Kroos at the Santiago Bernabeu, but signing him will not be easy. Despite the player's reported interest in joining Real Madrid, negotiations with Stuttgart could push the price to at least €50 million, similar to the Alvaro Carreras deal. There has been mention of interest in Alexis Mac Allister of Liverpool as well, but he will cost €100 million or even more, ruling him out of contention. As such, Stiller seems to be the most viable option for Real Madrid, and it will be interesting to see if the club are ready to fulfill Alonso's request. Real Madrid have no agreement in place on contract renewal of 25-year-old Real Madrid, and Vinicius Jr. have yet to reach a full agreement over a new contract. According to journalist Miguel Angel Diaz from COPE, despite recent talks and earlier hopes for a quick renewal, nothing has been signed or sealed or even agreed so far. Vinicius' current contract with the club runs until 2027. Talks about a new deal began right after the 2024-25 La Liga season ended. At first, it seemed like the extension would be completed soon after the Club World Cup, but things have not gone according to plan. The Brazilian forward is reportedly in no rush. He wants to have full control over his future and decisions. While this has not caused panic inside the club, it has created a bit of confusion. People expected the new deal to be a formality, but it's turning out to be more complicated. Betis show interest in 20-year-old Real Madrid defender also wanted by Como. According to Mundo Deportivo, Real Betis are exploring the possibility of signing Real Madrid defender Jacobo Ramon as part of their summer transfer strategy. The outlet mentions that Betis are on the lookout for a young, talented centre-back to strengthen the defensive line alongside Marc Bartra, Diego Llorente, and Nathan. At just 20 years old, Ramon has already made 6 appearances for Real Madrid's first team this season. He was also part of the squad for the FIFA Club World Cup, although he only played 1 match during the tournament. Despite high expectations of a breakthrough under Xabi Alonso, his limited minutes suggest that a summer departure is becoming more likely. Competition for Ramon's signature. Interestingly, Real Betis are not the only club keeping an eye on the young defender. Cesc Fabregas Como are also interested in signing Ramon and have already started talks with Real Madrid. Como are reportedly considering a deal similar to the one they struck for Nico Paz, where they would bring in the player while allowing Madrid to keep future options open. Additionally, Getafe have shown interest in the Madrid-born defender. If Ramon decides to stay at Real Madrid, he faces heavy competition for game time. The club already has Dean Huijsen, Raúl Asensio, Eder Militao, Antonio Rudiger, David Alaba and quite possibly Aurelien Tchouameni ahead of him in the pecking order. This makes a move away from the Bernabeu a logical step for his development. With the summer window now in full swing, negotiations are expected to pick up pace. Whether it is Betis, Como, or Getafe, Ramon appears set for a move that could offer him the consistent minutes he needs to take the next step in his career. According to a report from us, it has come to light that Endrick has made it clear that he will not consider a loan move this summer. While Real Madrid were open to the idea of sending him out on loan to gain experience, the Brazilian forward has no interest in leaving. His focus is fully set on succeeding in Madrid, and he does not plan to change his path. Endrick's first season at Real Madrid showed flashes of promise. Despite having limited minutes under Carlo Ancelotti, he made the most of every chance he got. However, his momentum was interrupted towards the end of the 2024-25 campaign when an injury ruled him out of the FIFA Club World Cup. During his absence, Gonzalo Garcia stepped up, making headlines as the team's top scorer in the competition. This unexpected rise has created uncertainty about Endrick's role moving forward. Some inside the club believe a loan could help him develop with regular playing time, but Endrick is not interested. Endrick determined to prove himself. Endrick does not want to leave Real Madrid. Photo by Angel Martinez, Getty Images. Endrick's camp has firmly ruled out any idea of an Erasmus-style loan spell, despite plenty of interest from other clubs. Those close to the player told us that he is at the biggest and most important club in the world. For Endrick, the opportunity to grow at the biggest club in the world is something no other team can offer. The young forward remains confident he can change his fortunes with hard work and determination. To prove his commitment, he traveled to the United States to join Real Madrid's preseason camp after the group stages. He wants new manager Xabi Alonso to see his dedication up close. For Endrick, the mission is to stay at Real Madrid, fight for his place, and show Alonso just how much he can contribute this season. Liverpool transfer news: Ibrahima Konate to Real Madrid, finalized in coming days. Liverpool are here ring up for their first preseason friendly, away to Preston North End. this afternoon with a number of touching tributes set to be paid to Diogo Jota. The game should also provide Reds fans with a first look of new signings Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez following an early summer spending spree to equip Arne Slot with a squad capable of retaining their Premier League title. But, as ever, the transfer rumour mill continues to spin, and having spent £200 million on new signings, talk surrounds players who may up being sold to balance the book saga takes twist. Read more, Transfer News Live. Arsenal close on Madueke, Rashford's Man United exit, Tottenham face legal threat. Konate to Madrid. Real Madrid have reached a comprehensive agreement with Ibrahima Konate, according to the Spanish outlet Fichajes, who add that they are set to pay £43 million in a deal that will be finalized in the coming days. The report adds that Konate meets the qualities Xabi Alonso considers essential to compete at the highest level, and the defender, who has a year left on his deal, is not considering any other alternative at this time. 2+2 was equaling 5 yesterday, with suggestions that Marc Guehi is more likely to move away from Crystal Palace now they had been demoted to the Conference League because of a multi-club ownership issue. But there are also suggestions that Parma's Giovanni Leone and Wolfsburg's Konstantinos Kouliarikis are being watched. According to a Substack blog by David Lynch, youngster Rio Ngumoha will sign his first professional contract with Liverpool following his 17th birthday next month, according to the Echo. The Reds pulled off a coup last summer when signing the highly rated teenager from Chelsea, and he made a seunia debut in the FA Cup third-round win over Accrington Stanley in January despite still being on a scholarship deal. Liverpool transfer news: Reds get €100 million midfielder boost Mac Allister to Real Madrid is not happening. This has been a saga for the last few months, although nothing has really come from it until now. Alexis Mac Allister was name-dropped in a lot of Spanish reports about becoming their new Luka Madrid or Toni Kroos replacement, but that interest looked to be dropped when it appeared as though Angelo Stiller agreed terms to join Madrid back in May, but the German remains at Stuttgart. But then another boost came Liverpool's way in the form of Franco Mastantuono's move to the Spanish capital. Hitch has gone through, although the teenager won't join until later this summer. Now we're faced with another threat from Madrid as Xabi Alonso has entered the fold. The latest from Fichajes claims that the new Los Blancos head coach wants Mac Allister to join the midfield, whether there ends up being any movement on this latest update, we are unsure, but the Argentine is considered to be a €100 million rated player, which will likely price out any suitors from a move. Liverpool only spent £35 million, €40 million, on him 3 years ago, so the prospect of doubling their money might be tempting, but at 26 years old, delivering incredibly impressive performances on a consistent basis, he won't be going anywhere when the project built around him is excelling so well. So you might see plenty of updates on social media to prolong this saga, but his price is going to be too high, and the Reds will be unwilling to even consider responding to any approaches made for him. However, if there are fringe players that Madrid would be willing to lose in order to facilitate a deal for a different target at a different club, then Liverpool might express their interest in a cut-price recruit.